Welcome to Learn Biology, and we're still discussing cell parts, and last time we left off on the mitochondria. So what we said is that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell and it is the site of cellular respiration, which creates energy for the cell, and the type of energy is known as ATP, which is instant energy for the cell. However, we have one more part to discuss in the animal cell before we move on to plant cells, and that is the vacuole. So the vacuole. Here is the vacuole. All it is a tiny piece, a tiny circular region within a cell. So it is called the vacuole. And what the vacuole does is store food, waste, and byproducts. So the vacuole is responsible for storing the extra energy for animal cells and also holding the waste for a certain period of time. Without the vacuole, cells would be infected and would die because of the waste that would spread throughout the cell. So that was the last part. Now we go on to plant cells. Now plant cells are very similar to animal cells. So plant cells, they contain all the parts that animal cells have, but they have a few more. So what a plant cell looks like is a kind of rectangular structure. So they are rectangular and they have 3 layers on the outer part before the cell membrane. So these are 3 layers, and these 3 layers, so just through an arrow, make up the cell wall. So the cell wall gives plants structure and protection. Other parts within plant cells, and again, if you need a review on what the other organelles are, please check out the other videos, but other parts within a plant cell are a larger vacuole. So the vacuole is much larger. The vacuole is larger because plants need to store higher amounts of food and water because they do not have any way of moving and obtaining those resources. In addition, plants have chloroplasts. So chloroplasts, and what chloroplasts are tiny sacs of pigment. So pigment that store the energy from the sun, so they absorb sunlight. So sunlight. And why do plants absorb sunlight? Where plants are considered autotrophs. Autotrophs are organisms that make their own food using the sun's energy or any other chemical that is available, but plants use sunlight. So use sunlight, and the only way they can use the sun's energy is to absorb it through pigments called plastids. So plastid is the name of or term that describes chloroplast. So chloroplast. So chloroplast is a type of plastid, and the specific pigment that is within chloroplast is chlorophyll. So chlorophyll. So let's do a little review here just to make straight. Chloroplast is the name of the organelle. This right here is the chloroplast. Anything that absorbs the sun's energy within the plant is called a plastid. And the specific cells or specific molecules within the chloroplasts that absorb the sunlight are called chlorophyll. And there are other types of plastids in plant cells. Another example is amyloplast. So we'll change the color here to something like yellow. Amyloplast, so amyloplast is another type of plastid. And what this plastid does is store starch. So this stores starch. So it is considered a plastid because it's absorbing the sun's energy and then using the processes to store starch. Another type of plastid is chromoplast. This is chloroplast. This is chromoplast. And again, this is circular and it's called chromoplast. And what chromoplasts are plastids that have absorbed different colors. Chromoplasts absorb yellow or orange, so store yellow and orange. You know, in the fall when leaves turn yellowish orange, that is the chromoplast showing. The chloroplast, this is dominant. This is dominant over the other plastids. However, when this begins to die, the other plastids show, and this one is chromoplast. So chromoplasts show yellow and orange. So this is fall or autumn. Thank you for watching Learn Biology, and we'll see you next time.